Uja, we'll begin today's session with a brief opening chant. Om Amudapta.
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 That's it. Okay, very good. I'm going to dispense with the introductions because we've done introductions for the last two times. So I want to jump right into the new information that has been posted to the website. And the new information you see on the menu, there are pages for each of the three levels of study. And EM level 3 summary has been added, basically early this morning. And then also the application page and the course fees page. So these are what we're going to go over today and do any other questions that may also be there as well. Okay, as you all know, the program consists of essentially three levels of study. One is related to the teachings of the physical world, essentially, the creation. And the other level, the next level, is related to teachings of myth or mythic wisdom that answers the questions about the nature of reality, the nature of creation, the nature of the soul, and so on and so forth. And that is called Shetal Matanu, or the mysteries of myth or mythic wisdom. And that once being seated in those two studies, then that leads us to the third level of practice and study, which is the mysteries of mind. And it's called Shetal Sekhet. And those of you who attended the conference 3 years ago, when we discussed the chapter 18, I believe it was, of the Pradam Haru, it discusses the idea of fields. And the field of the Sekhet is where you go to have true peace of mind and understanding the mysteries of mind in the deeper unconscious that this level is related to. So I want to just begin going through the page. There's a little bit of information there, so I want to go through it to make sure we conclude on time, as we have for the last two times. So we're going to start with the course syllabus. The prerequisites for this level of practice, it is not automatic that let's say you complete level 1 and level 2, that you'll automatically be inducted or taken in for the study at level 3. Level 3 is much more particular and is for those who are really, really not just serious, but advanced in a mature sense. And truly devoted to the teaching, in the sense of wanting to be a very dynamic and very diligent aspirant. So you have to complete those prerequisites of level 1, level 2, but also it is by invitation. You can apply for it, but it's not necessarily a given that you will be accepted for it. Because as you're going to see, there are many aspects to the higher spiritual practice. And it's not just an issue of doing academic work. We can see how many people do academic work and they get into government or they get into business and they're a disaster for society. They're criminals, they spoil the environment and so on and so forth. So that just because you have academic standing doesn't mean that you have wisdom or that you have integrity or ethical conscience. So, and also mental balance. That you can be a highly evolved person, but then maybe you didn't grow up with a father, and then you end up being a big leader and leading people to disaster. So that is not something that the temple wants to admit. So it just says completion of the addition Mysteries Level 1, but also minimum 2-year studies in Egyptian Mysteries Level 2 classroom. And I should say that this is, for some of you who have been studying for a while or have had different levels of initiation, some of these are requirements are more strict for people who are coming in from or from earlier stage, from a scratch, or from introductory levels. Those who have been in the studies for a while, there's going to be some adjustment taking those studies and that practice into account. But that is going to be done more individually. In order to apply for this and to be accepted, you must be exhibiting, at least for the last year, mental stability. That means that you don't have serious mental complexes or issues going on, dysfunctions, however you want to call it, things that are troubling from your past or from your childhood or past lives or whatnot. You have to have mental stability. You have to have physical health, which is why you start with the Kemetic diet in the earlier practice levels. And there has to be maturity in your capacity to cope with life and handle your issues of life, your responsibilities of life. And there must be ethical conscience, and that is being seated in wisdom. As I said before, the program has 50 lessons. If you do one lesson per fortnight or for every 2 weeks, you would complete those in 2 years. If you take a little longer to do it, you'll take longer, but you have up to 4 years to complete it. If you do it faster, you can do it in a shorter amount of time. So it's flexible in that way. And again, also, this program, there's no set beginning or ending to it, so it can be started at any time. And you'll be in contact with other students who are in it, or with your mentor. It could be myself or Sabaja, or however we arrange it. And you'll be able to communicate with others who have been in the program for a while, or others who are just starting. So it's dynamic in that way also, which actually mimics the real life situation of the temple in some ways, but also keeps you on a certain level dealing with people who are doing your same general studies. The introductory work at level 1 and the mythic work at level 2 mystery studies is to lead to a properly founded and well-adjusted individual who is capable of handling the ordinary challenges of life with the Ma'at ethical philosophy and Ma'atanu mythic wisdom, and has become seated in the standard regular Shedi practices, which include physical health, postures, meditation, devotion, ethical conscience, and wisdom study. In such a person, the standard practices serve to cleanse gross impurities and promote virtue, as well as integrity, purity of health, of body, of physical body, and balanced mind. Having built up a foundation of physical purity and mental balance, resolution of gross delusions and misconceptions, as well as major mental complexes, issues, dysfunctions, codependencies, etc., then the personality is more capable of receiving, and more important, being able to use the mystical philosophy. Mysticism is that teaching about the nature of the absolute and transcendental existence by which knowing all is known, and for which none but the most qualified are able to access, even if it is revealed. And essentially what I'm saying there is that if you're not prepared and purified, you can receive the wisdom teaching. Aset herself, Asar, or Jehuti could come down in person to mentor you, to be your preceptor, and it would not work. That's all I'm saying there. So that's the preparation. That's why level 1 and level 2 are so important. They're not to be discounted in any way, shape, or form. So the chart below, this is essentially a chart that gives you a kind of general understanding of what is happening, or what is to happen in each level of study. And what this also means is that just because you may be starting at level 2 doesn't mean that you are discounting the work or what you learned at level 1. If you're not seated in that level, then you need to go back and do some remedial work. And this possibility that some of you may have through the application process, you may need to have some part of the level 1 to review, and that will also be possible in order to continue your work and then move forward in a properly founded way. So in level 1, this is called Wepwat, and Wepwat, this, you know this as the jackal divinity Anpu. Wepwat is an aspect of Anpu. It means opener of the ways, opener of the roads, or opener of the path. So level 1 opens the path. You are to understand what the path is all about, what it means to be an aspirant, and that helps you to seek yourself and know what you're supposed to be doing. And this is also, in terms of the protocol of the Temple of Aset, that is the listening stage, Sejam. And moving from there, you go to level 2, where you're looking for purity, purity of heart, purity of mind, purity of body, so on and so forth. And that is presided over by Jehuti, which is the intellect. And in this level, you do reflection according to the teaching of the Temple of Aset. That is the focus. You don't just do that, but that is the main focus. In level 3, your focus is having listened, reflected, and being probably seated in the understanding of the philosophy. Then you can go deeper into it. And so meditation is a strong emphasis. But also, from the standpoint, in this particular practice, we're also going to be focusing on the wisdom meditation, which is a reflective kind of process that leads to one-pointed mind. And so what are you listening to? You're listening to the Sebait. Sebait is the mystic philosophy. And I'm continuing in this next paragraph from where I left off here, where I said that the teaching, if there's not proper preparation, the teaching will not be understood and be accessible, even if it's revealed in its entirety or fully. And continuing from there, this is extremely critical, an extremely critical phase of spiritual practice, and the point of failure for most aspirants. I'm sure that you all know, and maybe yourself have found that is, especially in our society today, where everything's kind of open, you can get books and read about everything, and everything's out, for you to see. That you think that because of seeing it, you're able to fully access it, and it takes years actually to get the purity and the subtlety of mind, purity of heart, purity of your feeling, to gain advanced detachment and dispassion, as well as sharpness of mind in order to understand the philosophy truly and deeply and experientially. That's what's being talked about here. That's why a lot of aspirants fail. They think that they know, and they're really stuck in a kind of intellectual loop. A point of failure for most aspirants due to the lack of purity, reverence, understanding, and maturity to receive and make use of the mystery teaching of the supreme absolute and transcendental essence of the soul and the divine, so as to realize this issue in fact and not remain at intellectual level, forever stuck in an initiatic limbo of deluded complacency, rationalizations of egoism embedded in an otherwise upstanding example of an initiate, masquerading as contentment and wisdom, though all the while existing at the superficial level of the unrealized information, at intellect level, with the deluded and unpurified feelings and emotions, leading to a life of comfort with the regularity and status quo while failing to take final and critical steps towards enlightenment. And that's one of the longest sentences that I've written, but I think it's
Not the longest.
I think it's that way for a purpose. And I'm specifically talking about aspirants who gain a certain level of advancement, especially in intellect, where there is a certain comfort and a certain complacency develops. And because there's no antsiness about the path, or because there's no fire, pushing, no suffering being there, they kind of stay at a certain level, and you feel comfortable. You go to temple, do your chanting, and meet with others, and have a good feeling, do your chant and everything like that, but you don't progress. And so part of this program is to present a pathway for progress, because part of that issue is also the fact that there is a lack in the opportunity for the advancement. So that there's a dysfunction there, if you will, in the Kemetic culture, in the mystery culture, due to our history and due to where we are in time and place and so on and so forth. I try to rebuild it. In this context, there are 3 components for a successful spiritual evolution. I explained this before, but I try to put it in a graphic form to make it more easily understood. There are 3 important components to a successful spiritual evolution. First, there must be a qualified aspirant, an aspirant who has ethical conscience, who has purity of heart, and who has a mental balance, and so on and so forth, and who has an avid desire to progress in the teaching, to know what and who they are. Then there must be a qualified teacher to be able to teach that aspirant in order to be able to relate and to understand the methods and the different personalities and so on and so forth. And then there must be something to teach. So there must be an authentic teaching, not a teaching that leads to a mythic, what we refer to as a mythic eschatology. Eschatology means like the end or the goal of your religious process. If your goal is to go to heaven, that's where you end up. If your goal is to lead yourself to enlightenment, then that goal of that teaching, if it is authentic and if it has the pathway and the answers, can lead you there. So, but I want to emphasize the program. We've been talking about the qualifications of aspirant, assuming that you think that the Kemetic teaching, the Shaitan Netter, is legitimate and authentic. We're taking that as a given. As if you're accepting that you have vetted myself or Shabaja or for the temple of Shaitan Netter as an authentic teacher. Then what is left is for you to see if you are a qualified aspirant, if you are following instructions that are given by the teaching for your spiritual evolution. If those 3 components are there, then we have something dynamic and something powerful, and something that will be successful in the end. The program of study of Egyptian Mysteries Level 3 is centered on the Pertem Heru text and extended lecture series given by Sebaima. This classroom will allow you to have a medium intensity paced class. This series provides a highly advanced mystic and philosophical espousal of Unitarian teaching to prepare aspirants for understanding and becoming balanced and firm in the teaching, sufficiently to be trusted with the Egyptian Mysteries Level 3 or Temple Wisdom, to be given ideally to mature, well-adjusted, and worthy aspirants. Using the recorded lectures that will be listened to along with the video presentations, this level of teaching will be including additional insights into the mystical aspects of Unitarian teaching. Well, all levels will do that. You're going to be getting more augmentation from the recordings. through the comments and the glosses that will be given, as given by the original text of the Purtam Haru. The Purtam Haru is at once a ritual text for practice of devotional and ritual work related to the mythic wisdom presented in the Asarana direction, as well as one of the most elevated and mystical texts when the deeper import and intent of the ritualized myth is activated and made effective in life. This classroom will engage in the study of the PMH, the Purtam Haru, as a mystic text, as the wisdom of the lectures is pointed out for the reflection process of the aspirants. And aspirants are the class attendees in this context. In level 2, training and study, there is emphasis on developing an initiatic standard of practice and on developing on devotional work and purity of feeling and emotion. Now I want to briefly, from here, because I have a link here for you to go to see exactly what I mean by initiatic standard of practice. This takes us back to the level 2 page, a new section that I've added there on this issue. Just let the page load up a little bit. Developing an initiatic standard of practice. At level 2 practice, an aspirant will be expected to develop an initiatic standard of practice, which includes prescribed spiritual disciplines, or Shedi disciplines, but is also tailored to the needs and capacities of the individual. So we are going to work together to develop what that practice is that you need for you. The initiatic standard of practice is a minimal level of effective performance of spiritual disciplines to be applied by all that serve to move an aspirant's spiritual evolution forward in a positive direction. As I said before, your evolution can move sideways, it can even move backwards, and we want to move forwards. This includes the consistent practice of physical health, postures, meditation, devotion, ethical conscience, and wisdom study, as you said before. A given aspirant may need more attention to one discipline or another, while another aspirant may flourish in some areas versus others. That variation is normal, though a minimal effective practice in all areas is to be determined, and this can be different for each aspirant, though equally effective for each. What this means is that all aspirants will be doing some measure of all of the disciplines, the Shedi disciplines, but some, you may concentrate on more on wisdom, say. Another one may concentrate more on devotional practices. They will do all the disciplines, but they will concentrate on specific ones. So in that aspect, all will be together doing all disciplines, but some will be different, doing different combination or variation or intensity. This balance is to be determined, and the program overall is to provide a forum and maintain an environment conducive for the spiritual practice. So that's the Shedi room is the forum, although it's going to be, the final form is going to be changing. And part of the assignments in this program will be reflection and practice assignments that you're going to be putting in your journals. So part of the program will be academic, and part of it will be Shedi driven, so spiritual practice driven. And in the monthly webinars, we'll be doing the Shedi disciplines practice, as well as Q&A related to the program, to your level of the program that you're in. So continuing here, in this level 3 training, there is still devotional practice, just like in level 2, but also more emphasis in the practice, and much work is done at the point of reflection to ensure and secure understanding and thereafter subsequent wisdom meditation practice for physical, mental health, and peace, leading towards a mystic awakening to be gained through glimpses during meditation, and then later, perennial awareness of supreme and absolute self, Nebuchadnezzar. This little study will include advancing Shetty disciplines practices with advancing instruction along with the philosophy studies and direct contact with the teacher for mentoring on the understanding of the deeper mysteries of the text, as well as one-on-one spiritual counseling. There will be contact with other students online, as well as one-on-one monthly meetings with the preceptor. The goal of the class is to become seated in mystical philosophy, mental balance, strength, clarity, and subtlety, so as to qualify to hear the higher teaching of Shedar temple initiation, and eventually become qualified to practice the mysteries with effectiveness, leading to attainment of Mahast, or spiritual enlightenment, the coveted goal of the temple. At the completion of all levels of academic study, the aspirant receives a certificate of completion. So at the end of each level of practice that you complete. You don't have to complete the whole thing at the end of each one. However, the objective of the program is not of certification, of giving out certificates, but of spiritual evolution. And this would be the deeper goal of attending the program, to avail yourself of the opportunity to confer with the mysteries and have them explained in a detailed step-by-step manner while working with your mentor closely after the fashion of the ancient times. This is the real benefit and value of the program to the avid and qualified aspirant. Well, with the subtlety of what I'm saying there is that a lot of people sometimes get into these things because they want something to do, or they so they can actually, to them it's more important to be able to be called an aspirant or initiate or whatever. And for a real aspirant, the labels are less important. They give you a kind of idea of where you are in a kind of academic sense. But as we said before, you can be academically advanced and spiritually dumb. Diligence and responsibility. In the EM level 3, we said it's a medium intensity program, but this course is more intensive than the 2 previous levels of study. Therefore, more is expected from aspirants who sign up for this work. More is expected in terms of punctuality, in terms of diligence with the work, and regularity in the practice of the personal Shetty disciplines. So you're going to be expected to keep a journal, like I said before, and to be more meticulous than even at level 2. And the discipline practice at home, as well as being prepared for webinar meetings to participate in a qualitative and dynamic manner in the webinar meetings. There will be special assignments also, and as I said, that's in the syllabus earlier. I think it's under a TBA, to be announced, what the special assignments will be. There won't be anything massive or anything overriding, but there'll just be some additional work to what is listed. Yeah, they're not listed, and the other other extracurricular activities and extra credit assignments within reason will be given. Now, what comes after level 3 studies? As explained elsewhere, the level 1, 2, and 3 studies presented in this program constitute in whole an initiatic process. Level 3 studies may be considered as the first level of most intensive initiatic study and practice. After practice of level 3 for a given time, and what I really mean is going through to completion, an aspirant has all the necessary essential wisdom to order their lives so as to eventually attain enlightenment. If it has not occurred yet. If it has not, then the task is to A, continue purifying the personality, body and mind, with the instruction given. B, continue and advance in depth the practice of meditation. And C, continue refining the understanding through retaking the course of level 3. This is one possible pathway, is to just redo it, to just start over again. And another pathway, which will probably be ready by that time, is to do continuing education at level 3, which will mean other level 3 lectures, lessons will be opened up by that time. Meaning that handling other chapters of the Purnavaru will be done. Courses that may be offered in the future so as to continue gaining new nuances for understanding the teaching. If the aspirant chooses to leave the intensive program for independent, self-motivated practice, then too, the aspirant should maintain periodic contact with the teacher so as to have their understanding, thoughts, feelings, and actions confirmed to be in harmony with the teaching. So the saying is that, let's say that you go at the end of the 2-year program and you complete it, and you decide not to engage in further level 3 studies, maybe opened up at that time, you decide to go back to kind of the way things are now, which is your personal practice, but not engage in a dynamic kind of a classroom type program. Then you're going to manage on your own. Then you can continue the mentorship by kind of calling and trying to get advice, spiritual counseling as time allows, and all that kind of thing. Kind of going back to how the way things are now. A brief summary of the level 3 training. The goal of this class is to train persons who are currently working on Egyptian Mysteries level 2 coursework, or who have completed the coursework as participants that have been practicing the teachings of Shuddha Netter actively for a minimum of 2 years, and who have requested the advancing initiatic training of Egyptian Mysteries level 3, and who have been deemed sufficiently mature, responsible, and mentally stable. Those who have applied for the Egyptian Mysteries level 3 training and who have been approved will undergo the following training and complete the following work. A, complete the assigned book readings and or video and audio lecture report assignments at the online classroom. You have to report those in the online classroom that we're setting up. Interact with another student's comments online per week. Receive, reflect on, and respond to the feedback offered by the teacher. Meet with the teacher once per month for one-on-one counseling and classwork feedback. And the one-on-one is done for more intensity, but as well as a more tailored type program. The coursework at Egyptian Mysteries Level 3, Mysteries of Mind classroom consists of, I think it's kind of a reiteration, but reading the text and view recorded video, listening to audio recordings, and reporting on the teaching given in the discussion section of the website, and then conversing about what you have learned with other students online and receive feedback from the teacher. There will be occasional special assignments, TBA, as we said before. Have monthly group online meeting. This is actually, well, not sure about the online group for the level 3. That's really just level 2. For the level 3 is really just, I was planning to do the individual meeting monthly. And here, the matrix of the classroom, 50 lessons. private discussion online. There'll be private as well as group discussion. So everyone at level 3 will be able to converse. There'll be audio assignments, reading assignments, video assignments. And I should say that this, the reading assignments on this particular course program is only going up to level or to chapter 11 of the Purdom Haru. And that's why I say other courses, lessons will be opened up later that go beyond level chapter 11. So chapter 11 will take the 2 years. There'll be video assignments and 1 monthly meeting one-on-one, and the time limit to completion is 4 years, which is double of if you were to do it 1 lesson every 2 weeks. So you do 1 lesson every 2 weeks, takes you 2 years. If you take longer than that, you can do it up to 4 years. Working at your own pace, we've gone over that before. And this is an idea of the components of the classroom. This website will remain the way it is as an information website. Everyone will be told to come here for information. Of course, coming new to the information that we're interested. But there will be a separate website set up for the actual lessons and classes themselves. The individual meetings are the goal of those is to make sure that you're seated in the correct understanding of the philosophy, working through subtle personal issues that may arise, handling stress and challenges of life. This meeting is to help you with those issues, because as you progress in the teaching, inevitably things may come up or situations of life change, and you have to make sure that you understand the philosophy, how to handle those. So the teacher is not going to handle them for you. The teaching is going to help you to understand the philosophy and see how to apply it in the situations, so you can remain balanced and keep yourself pointed towards the teaching, towards advancement in the teaching. The meetings at level 3 and level 2, as well as level 1, are helping you to make sure that you're seated in the Sheri disciplines. You'll have, we'll go through a Q&A. There'll be some standing general questions that will be given out. They'll be discussed at the time also. Okay, the coursework will be based on the Purdom Haru text, and this here contains the. I just thought I'd put this a nice always to have the image when you discuss or work with the Purdom Haru. It's always nice to have the opening chant. And I'm sure you're all familiar with this. The chant from the hymn to Ra. So the hymn to Ra and the hymn to Asar are to be chanted when the text is studied. So you have the table of contents to give you an idea of the subjects that will be covered. I said earlier, going up to chapter 11. Chapter 11 of the Purdom Haru, of the Purdom Haru text, not chapter 11 of the book. And further down at the end, you have the lesson plan, so you can get an idea of the activities that will be practiced or that will be working on during these studies. Okay, so I guess that is it for what I was going to present. Then we have the other places, the application page, very quickly. This is essentially a questionnaire to get some basic information from you. You can copy this onto an email and send it in, information about yourself or contact information. And the questions are to help us to place you, but also to help us to gauge what studies you have, and what level you should be at, but also what special needs you may have as well. So that's what questions are there for. So if you're interested in the teaching and in the studies as they've been described, you can now go ahead and fill these out, fill out the application and send it in. And then you'll be contacted with a prescribed course to start study, and the registrations will be opened over the weekend when I get confirmation that the website is ready. So we have this page, application page, and then we have the course fees. I thought carefully about the issue of sustainability for the program, which makes use of technology that must be maintained in an ongoing fashion, as well as costs for materials and time to manage the program so as to substitute the time spent in it for time employed in other programs. This program is meaning that if we have other programs that we're deriving income from to sustain the institute, we need to substitute that income so that that other activity can be also sustainable. This program is unique in that it is semi-ongoing access. It is a semi-ongoing access to numerous study materials, the teacher of the mysteries, as well as the capacity to work at one's own pace and start at any given time. It is, and I'll talk really the arrangement of all that, the time involved and setting that up and managing it and so on. It is similar to a university course, an online course I'm talking about, in some ways, in that it makes use of technology to deliver course online, together with a specialized discussion system, but also has elements of webinars so that the student may see the teacher for a more personalized and authentic experience, closer to an in-person interaction. But it also has elements of spiritual counseling and group therapy programs to help the personality work through the issues that will be brought to the surface by means of the teaching, as an aspirant works to cleanse him herself while progressing through the program. The closest program we have conducted similar to this new Kemet University Egyptian Mysteries College was a year-long training for Hemu, this is the priesthood. But this new program that we're talking about now has more elements and particulars that the previous one did not. So with all that in mind, we have striven to have the required technology to deliver the course program and planned the required time to run the program while also having an affordable cost that will not be burdensome for aspirants. In this way, it could sustain the program and the aspirants, sustain the aspirants also. The following will be the fee structure for this pilot year of the program, and as the time passes, we will review to make sure that the program is and remains sustainable as we move forward and then make adjustments where needed. Of course, if the program proves to be unsustainable, meaning that it is not affordable or there are insufficient numbers of students benefiting from the program, then the existence of the program overall may be reconsidered. So this is going to be the starting fee structure for the program. The monthly donation for the program at level 1 practice will be $42. At level 2, it will be $49, and at level 3, it'll be $59. Once you register for the program, the program will automatically take the payment, whether you do it through PayPal or through a credit card or wherever you may want to do it. It'll do that automatically until you stop it. So you can remain part of the program and take as long as you want, but it'll be charged, on a monthly basis, and you'll be part of the program. You'll get all the services that have been described during that time. So I think that's pretty much it. And this link here takes you back to the application if you want to. if you want to move forward. And so now we will open it up for questions. Do you want to say something? Sure. I did all the reading. Excuse me. Let me change the.
And may unmute themselves by pressing *6.
Okay, so moving into the Q&A part of this meeting, and so you can unmute yourself. I think you press *6, and you can ask your question, or you can put it in the text section. Excuse me? The one thing that I was thinking about in putting the fee structure together and trying to decide what would be sustainable and useful on our side and affordable, is I was thinking about a cell phone charge. Cell phone charges go from anywhere from $25 for just talk, just a talk line, to like $100 for a smartphone with all kinds of features but maybe the average is maybe about 50, 60 in that range, 70. So that's trying to keep it so affordable that it's like a kind of utility, like having your lights on, having telephone service, your water turned on, and this is your kind of your spiritual utility, your a system connected to your life for your spirit. Okay, so Uja audio is getting spotty. Someone says that the audio got spotty. Is the audio okay again? Okay. So one question is, when can payments be made? And we're going to wait until we get confirmation from the website, the person who's making the website. They were supposed to get that today, actually, but in the meantime, we still have the application process to go through, and which should be done over the weekend. And then once you get the okay from that, then we can direct you to the website for registration and for getting lessons and so on.
Go on.
It should be. Yeah. Okay, next question is, where should I start, Sabai? This is from Jehudi Mes. Yeah, send in the application, and then we will go from there. We'll have a specific answer for that question. For Tillis Mayor Woods, okay. Any other questions? Well, dua for everyone who has been part of this launch of the Egyptian Mystery School, and you've been very diligent. You came out Monday night, Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, and today, and taking your Friday night to tend to this, as opposed to other insanities that could be tended to. And so dua for that. This video will also be posted as soon as it's ready, which should be in a few hours. It'll be posted on the level 3 page of the website. And of course, I recommend that everyone go look at the website and all the questions and comments that have been put there with my answers. so you get to have a good understanding of what the program is all about and what we are trying to do, where we're trying to go with it. Okay, there are no other questions or comments. We'll go ahead and conclude. Amasuwa paneter, satsumete paneter, adwanuma, ke dipaharu.
Amasun Panater, Saksuamasan Panater, Adwanama, Keri Paharu.
Give thyself to God, keep thyself daily for God, and let tomorrow be as today.
Give thyself to the goddess, keep thyself daily for the goddess, and let tomorrow be as today.
Om Hatep, Hatep, Hatep.
Om Hatep, Hatep, Hatep.
Hatep.
Hatep.